Hi guys, today we want to learn about word. We often assume that we know what a word is. A word is usually described as the most basic building block of language. But is that definition really accurate? On this slide, we see examples like go, meow, white wine, and under the weather. They all seem like words, but they clearly behave differently in language. So the question is, what really counts as a word? Let's investigate the evidence. Traditionally, linguists define a word using two main characteristics. First, a word has an unpredictable meaning, meaning its definition must be learned and listed in a dictionary. Second, a word functions as a structural unit, acting as a basic building block for phrases and sentences. At first glance, this definition seems reasonable. However, once we examine real language data, problems begin to appear. Not all words have unpredictable meanings. Some words are actually quite predictable. A good example is onomatopoeia, where the sound of the word reflects its meaning. Words like bow wow or meow immediately suggest the sounds they represent. This challenges the idea that all words must have unpredictable meanings. An even bigger problem comes from expressions that are not single words, but still carry one clear meaning. These multi-word units function as a single semantic unit. Importantly, the meaning of the whole expression cannot be predicted from the meanings of its individual words. Because of this, they often need to be listed in dictionaries, just like single words. These fused units of language appear in several forms. First, we have idioms, such as under the weather, whose meanings are not literal. Second, there are proverbs, which express metaphorical ideas rather than direct meanings. Finally, we have collocations, like white wine, where words regularly occur together with specific meanings. All of these units behave like single meanings, even though they consist of multiple words. At this point, we face a clear contradiction. Some single words have predictable meanings, while some multi-word expressions have unpredictable meanings. This means that the two core features of a word do not always stay together. As a result, the traditional definition of a word no longer works consistently. So how can we resolve this problem? To solve this inconsistency, we need a broader and more accurate concept. This leads us to the idea of the lexical item. A lexical item is any unit of language that must be listed in a dictionary because its meaning cannot be predicted. This definition shifts our focus away from form and toward meaning. A lexical item can take different forms. It can be a single word with an unpredictable meaning, such as go or sit. It can also be a multi-word unit with one unpredictable meaning, including idioms, collocations, and proverbs. In this sense, dictionaries do not simply list words. They list lexical items. The concept of the lexical item provides a unified view of language. Single words, collocations, and idioms are all treated equally as units of meaning. These are the elements we must learn, store, and retrieve in our mental dictionary. This perspective helps explain how language is actually learned and used. In conclusion, dictionaries do not simply list words. They list meanings. The true building blocks of language are not just words, but lexical items, unique units of meaning that must be learned individually. Understanding language in this way allows us to describe and teach it more accurately.